So what's the secret to having a great conflict resolution when two eagles are headbutting?
This is a great question with a really simple answer. It's a process that has been clarified and practiced through role modeling in Socratic discussion, group launches throughout the year, and a particular space to do it. So it's a really clear process. All of this is in Toolshed. And I've got to say, the power of having a peace table and a conflict resolution process may be the biggest gift Acton Academy gives to the world. These young people, as young as age 6, can sit around a peace table, follow the process, and solve their problems, shake hands, and walk away at peace with each other. Wouldn't the world be amazing if all adults could do this? The peace table is this simple. It doesn't have to be fancy. These could be plastic flowers. It has something like a vase with flowers. We have a rock that says empathy. It could say anything, or it could just be a blank rock. And the idea is the person speaking holds the rock. When it's the next person's turn, they pass the rock. And we just have a tiny table with 2 stools. But we also, at the table, have our checklist. And the checklist gives them the words they use. And they have practiced this because we've role modeled it in some of the morning launches. So this is something they're used to. When you blank, I feel blank. When you yell at me, I feel scared. So then you check that off, and the next person you pass the rock, then you have to repeat to me, what did I just say?
Yeah. I wasn't listening. What did you say? No.
I said, when you yell at me, I feel scared.
So when I yell at you, you feel scared.
Yes, that's right. The idea is by the end, they come up with an agreement and they both sign it and they shake hands, and that's the end of it.
But the important thing is you have to listen to the other person's feelings. You have to understand before you move on. We just did it quickly. Often it takes 5 or 6 rotations because it's when you say blank, I feel blank. And it's like, oh, so you're mean. It's like, no, let's go back and work the process.
Absolutely, because usually each person has a side to the story that both people have to listen and learn, and it's hard. And this is why we do have guide facilitated conflict resolution. So the guide sits or stands sometimes if it's a really complex conflict, and some of them are complex and emotional, just to make sure that they're following the process. So they don't answer the questions, but they say, wait a minute, Jeff, I don't think you repeated back what she said. Right. And so literally the guide's just making sure the process is being followed. Like everything in Acton Academy, what we're doing is giving tools and processes to equip, inspire, and connect the Eagles. But conflict resolutions require having some practice beforehand, or they won't work.
But it's amazing, having done this, if as a guide you follow the process, which again is all in Toolshed, if you follow the process, once you've done it a few times, Eagle champions will rise up and they'll be better at conflict resolution than you are. So it doesn't take long as a guide to be able to step out and to actually turn over everything to the Eagles.
The amazing thing is they start requesting conflict resolutions. Yes. So sometimes a guide will say, do you think you need a conflict resolution? And by this point, they're a good thing. They're a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. I love the story you have where you were walking by the back porch of the ES studio and overheard a group having a group conflict resolution.
Well, yeah, it was middle schoolers and elementary, Eagles from the elementary studio, and it was actually the councils for both groups. And I said, what are they doing over there? And he said, well, there's been some sort of issue about access to the playground and when people get to use it. And so they've called a group conflict resolution between the councils. We see these conflict resolutions begin to bubble up without any guide intervention at all. And it becomes a terrific way to listen to each other and actually walk away with a plan where both people are understood and there's a way to solve the problem.
That's right. That's why having the process in place that you practice beforehand makes it happen. And this is part of the Build the Tribe quest. Yes. So all these things are laid forward as tools that the Eagles have at their fingertips so that they can thrive in a learner-driven community.